Alex, here we are. Not long to go. Big kick-off. How are you feeling?
Yeah, like everybody in the building, Graham, we're all excited to get started. Obviously, you build up for weeks and weeks and weeks during pre-season to culminate and obviously playing that first game and getting the season started. A lot of hard work's gone into the preparation, both on and off the pitch. And as I say, we're really keen to get off to a good start. I think it's as important as ever, really, based off the back of what everybody experienced last year. We need to, redevelop that feel-good factor that everybody wants and provide some belief and some optimism for everybody moving forward once that Rochdale game's up and running.
So how are you going to be? All that training is done and dusted. How does Friday night or Saturday morning, Saturday lunchtime go around in the Morris household? How are you going to personally feel?
No different routine really to what it was the 4 games towards the back end of last season. You do all your work throughout the week that leads into the Friday, where you really do sort of nail home the real important bits that are going to be important in that game on the Saturday. The players leave the building earlier on the Friday than they would any other day, because obviously it's just one day before the match. And then Saturday morning is just a regular morning in my household, where I play with the kids and obviously have some breakfast and relax. And then we're fortunate in that Rochdale's only down the road, so we'll leave the ground sometime around midday, I would imagine, and onto the game we go.
Do you have any superstitions? Do you have any nerves?
No superstitions, no, and no nerves, no, because what will be will be. You will prepare as a management team your team, and that'll go for everybody across the country, up and down the country, all the clubs, I would imagine, the best you can possibly prepare them. And then obviously you get to work on the match day as well, in terms of spotting things during the game and being able to spot very quickly any changes that might need to be made to ensure that we're on top of the opposition. So we will always be ultra prepared for the games, and there's lots of variables that can affect whether you win that game or not. And obviously we think we've got a good squad of players who are going to win far more games than they lose this year, and if we do that, we're going to have a really successful season.
How big a part does your backroom team that you've assembled play on match days?
Vital. I'm very lucky to have a really good match day team, a good management team in general, right across the board, including recruitment and the medical side as well. But obviously Lee Bell, Kenny Luntz are huge on the match day. We've got Michael Jackson, who's another pair of eyes. John Dillon's outstanding with his analytic side of the game in terms of preparing detail for us on the opposition. And obviously you've got Fred Barber, who's with the goalkeepers. So we've got lots of eyes and ears, and there's a huge trust from me and the staff. And as I say, we've all got different skill sets and different strengths that we can bring to the table, and obviously if we bring them all to the table on a match day, we expect to have a positive result.
There's been a lot of work done in the recruitment in the few months that you've had, because it's a shorter term type of close season. Would you think, when you've assessed it all, that where you are, when the finals ones are done, you're probably going to sign 7, 8, 9 players before the window closes? Would you say you're better in depth and quality this time around, starting off?
I think balance was important. I knew very quickly from the start exactly what type of style and system we were going to play, and obviously you have to recruit accordingly. It's a numbers game, isn't it? You've got to have the right number of players in terms of depth to get you from one window to another, to withstand any sort of injuries and illness and anything else that can be thrown at you. And I think we've gone a long way towards doing that. Obviously you've got to make sure that you do it within the parameters of the budget that you set, which we've managed to do as well. The board have been great in terms of backing us. So yeah, we're where we would have expected to have been. You're always 2 players short, aren't you, of what you need? I don't think that'll ever change, whether you're Pep Guardiola or myself at this level. So we've done as much as we possibly can in terms of getting that squad balance and that squad depth to where we need it to be going into the next 4 months of the season before that next window arrives in January.
Well, I'll be waiting for your assistant manager Lee Bell to give me that team at 2 o'clock on Saturday up at Rochdale. But just for you as the manager, how do you do that? How do you reveal to your players what your team is? Because every football fan, every football player, every football manager, anything to do with football, wants to have that involvement in the first team, don't they? Those players want to be in your first 11. Do you reveal it early? Do they know what's happening?
You do work during the week on things that will be integral to the game on the Saturday. So obviously the players have a natural inclination when you pair certain players up together, but the actual reveal of the team never changes. It's always, if we've got a Saturday game on the Friday morning, we have a team meeting, a very short team meeting, whereby we reveal our team and the opposition team and what we expect that opposition team to be, and also who will play those opposition players from our squad, who obviously aren't in our starting 11. Then get out on the training pitch to do some work on it. Then we come back in and have a match analysis, a video analysis session after training to show the players some clips of the opposition and just give them obviously an idea visually of what we've worked out on the training pitch with through those clips as well. So it all comes to life through video as a result of what we've done obviously in the hour previously out on the training pitch. So we have a set routine. It's a very short morning whereby we don't overload them with too much information, and they'll know exactly with clarity of thought what we need from them the day after.
I think you'll have to tread carefully with Chris Long and Rio Adebisi in terms of your training schedule. Apart from that, I think most of them have got right up to speed. How big a boost is that for you? And one in particular, in Zach Williams coming back into the frame.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been ideal, as we spoke about, in terms of not having everybody out there throughout the whole pre-season, but a lot of the players now are working their way towards being available for selection. Some of them aren't going to be match fit in terms of match ready because they've missed, a certain amount of training, and you can't replace being out there having the minutes out on the grass. But yeah, we're nearing a full quota. That's getting closer and closer. Probably come a bit too early for the Rochdale game, and Chris Long's getting closer and closer. Again, might come a bit too early for the Rochdale game. You mentioned Rio. Rio's going to be 2-3 weeks yet before we see him out on the grass. That one's going a bit slower than we'd have hoped, but it's important that we get him back fit without any setbacks.
And just looking ahead to Saturday, Rochdale, your opponents, they've been a long-established club in League Two. They've got some experienced players that have come in to it all. There's a lot of hype about the opening day of the season. There's the old saying goes, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Do you have to, you and your management team, have to keep a lid on that your players are just fully focused on? It's 3 points and it's a game of football. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's hard to do that because there's so much hype around that first game, isn't there? Because it's been 4 months or 3 months, however long, since the previous competitive game. So, there's so much attached to that first game, and ultimately, like you say, it's only 3 points, but it doesn't half give you some momentum and give you, the belief that we're trying to project into these players that we're ready for the season that's ahead. We want to give our supporters, most importantly, that belief and that optimism for what we can produce. And obviously, if we do it from day one, it doesn't half get the ball rolling.
That just wrapping it up is a key, isn't it? Because they, like everybody connected to the club, they went through hell really last season. That momentum on the opening day of the season can go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And the players recognise that. This group of players are completely immersed in what we want them to do. They're a great group of lads. All of them have excellent application, excellent enthusiasm to everything that they do. We knew that was going to be an absolute given, that we had to create that sort of culture, because whilst ability and organisation goes a long way, those two factors don't mean anything unless you've got players that are willing to fight for 90, 95 minutes week in, week out for the shirt, and we believe we've got a good group of players who are more than willing to do that. A lot of them care deeply about the club. Those that have come into the club very quickly have realised what the culture's about and have bought into it. So we're ready, and we're good to go. We're looking forward to it.